The TIlma of Guadalupe aligns with Jewish year 5780. And we will be talking and looking at, on the TIlma of Guadalupe, this amazing revelation as well. 19 years between 2001 and 2020 on the TIlma of Guadalupe. Welcome to ProLifeForMankind.com, and here is one of my latest books, Timeline of the TIlma and 300 Christ of Revelation by Ellie Anzac, and my latest book, ID 2020 Trump Prophecies in the Last 117 Years on the TIlma of Guadalupe. Now we're going to be looking at the TIlma of Guadalupe. Amazingly, I discovered on this TIlma of Guadalupe, which you're looking at, years in the form of Greek letters. The Tau, the 19th character, the Gamma, the third letter, and the two epsilons, 2020, as you see right here. Now this is an amazing find on the TIlma of Guadalupe. Now the years of the Hebrew calendar are always 3,760 years greater than the Gregorian calendar that we use. And if you take 2020 plus 3,760 years, you get 5,780 year on the Jewish calendar. That's the year 2020 on the Gregorian calendar, and that's the year I found in the TIlma of Guadalupe. So, for the first time in history, the Jewish calendar lines with 2020 on the TIlma of Guadalupe. 5,780, the Jewish year, equals 2020 on the TIlma of Guadalupe. And you can see here again the findings I have. If you want to read my latest book, you can see these same findings, 1903 to 2020, 117 years. Now we're going to look at the year 2001 on the TIlma of Guadalupe. And this is amazing. We have to look at the hands of Our Lady of Guadalupe. You can see there a close-up of Our Lady of Guadalupe's hands. Now we're going to talk about the X. It's often used to abbreviate the name Christ, as in the holiday Christmas, and is the 22nd letter of the Greek alphabet. X is also the symbol of St. Andrew's Cross. Some people may be familiar with the X from St. Andrew's Cross. Now we're going to look at that X on the TIlma of Guadalupe. And here you can see I have circled to show you what the X is, the two pinkies crossing each other. And this is what the X looks like in the Greek alphabet. It's exactly as it is displayed on the TIlma of Guadalupe. Our Lady is showing an X. Now here it is with the figure X equals 22. It's the 22nd letter of the Greek alphabet. Our Lady is purposely crossing the two pinkies together. Now the next letter we're going to look at is XI. It's the 14th letter of the Greek alphabet. And this is what the 14th letter of the Greek alphabet looks like. It's just like three lines. And on the TIlma of Guadalupe, Our Lady puts the three fingers together, which I believe symbolize the XI letter. And that XI value of the Greek alphabet is 14. Now when you put these two values together, 14 and 22, you get 1422, and that in the Muslim calendar that equals the year 2001. So XI 14, X is 22, 1422 on the Muslim calendar is the year 2001. Now remember that a Muslim, the Antichrist will be a Muslim, and he's going to be the one to start the mark on the hand. So that explains why 1422 in the Muslim calendar equals the year 2001. So if we look at the year 2001, which is figured out from the hands on the TIlma of Guadalupe, and we look at the findings of 2020, and you can see that black horn which symbolizes Antichrist for 2020. It shows the year at the hands 2001 subtracted from 2020 at the feet is 19 years. 19 in the Greek alphabet is the symbol of the Tau, the cross. So since 2001 there has been 19 years up to this current year 2020. Nothing in the past has happened that has been equal to the kind of attack we had in 2001 on September 11th. We've had attacks on the country, but nothing like that. This kind of reminds me of Florida, what happened to Florida when they went 10 years without a single hurricane. So 19 years without another 9/11 since 2001 is truly miraculous. However, when we look back at Florida's 10-year streak without hurricanes ended with Hurricane Hermine in 2016. So from 2005 to 2015, Florida had no hurricanes. And now on the TIlma, from 2001 to 2020, 19 years, nothing like 9/11 has ever happened to the United States again. But what is the TIlma of Guadalupe showing us? What I think is interesting is that the legislation for 2020 on the chip on your driver's license is coming from what happened in 2001. And on the TIlma of Guadalupe, 2001 and 2020 are there. It shows us that the beginning of the mark of Antichrist began in 2001, and it's being enacted in 2020. So the TIlma is showing us the end of an era. The beginning of the final chapters in the book of Revelation will commence after 2020. And the 2000 event in 9/11 is the beginning of the mark of Antichrist. What happened in that year is connected to 2020 because the chip on the driver's license, which went into law in 2020, which is going to happen in October, is occurring because the legislation came about because of what happened in 2001. Now here are other findings on the TIlma of Guadalupe. We're going to take a look at some other findings which I found very interesting on the TIlma of Guadalupe. Now here you're going to see 3 horns by the right hand of the Blessed Mother, symbolic of the 3 Antichrists, the forerunner, the false prophet, and the Antichrist himself. Now if you look closely at this is Our Lady's right hand, you'll see those 3 little yellow extensions, look like horns by the right hand. Also, a rosary is found around the left wrist as a sign of prayer and freedom. And we have freedom in God alone. And you see the rosary beads around that left hand, that left wrist. And on the right hand, I found a rope around the right hand, a mark of Antichrist, a sign of being a hostage. You can see the material looks like a rope, which is a sign of being trapped by the Antichrist. Well, thank you for watching this video. Remember, we're living in the last days. If you'd like to purchase my book, Timeline of the TIlma and 3 Antichrists of Revelation, and ID 2020, Trump Prophecies in the Last 117 Years on the TIlma of Guadalupe, go to Amazon. God bless.